Hey guys, myself Afan and welcome back to my YouTube channel Tech Fears. I hope you're going good, and in the last video we saw how to link a YouTube video to our website, and today we will see how we can add content in our websites. So here you can see this text and this content over here, the left and right side, these images with transitions. So let me get back to my Sublime code, and I have created one more style sheet called style2 with style2.css. As you can see, my style.css is being really large now. It has almost like 150 plus lines. So I have created one more style sheet. I have also linked this in my HTML document. So now let me quickly create a section. I will say section, and I will give this a class name, and I will say section content. This section does nothing actually, no additional styles, but it is similar to like previously we used header, right? Or which defines the heading part of our website. So similarly, when we use this section tag, it represents some part that has some meaning in our website. So in this section, I will create a heading one tag, and I will say welcome to GCC BC in here over here, and let me get to my this style sheet and first copy this thing, get back to my style sheet, and I will paste this thing, and inside my section content I am having my heading one tag, and to this what I'll do, I will first text align it to center. Then I even have a property called text transform. What this will do is it capitalizes everything. First, let me use this. I will say uppercase. What this will do, all my text in any lowercase or uppercase, it will convert everything to uppercase. And then I will even change its font size. Let me give it to 2.5 rem. Then okay, let us first thing I will give some padding bottom to this section. So I'll copy this. I will go get back over here, and I will say padding bottom, and I will give it to 200 pixels so that my text is visible. I will get back, and when I refresh this thing, you can see my text has come over here, but we need this gradient color, right? For so to do that, we already have used this property called linear gradient. So I'll write background image, and I will say linear, not this, linear gradient, and I will say to right bottom. So starting from the top to right bottom, my color will be applied. What I will do, I have to mention two colors, so I will get back over my style sheet, and what color I have used to my heading part, I will just simply copy all of this, paste it down over here, and I will remove this alpha property which specifies my transparency. So I will remove this. I don't want anything to be transparent. Okay, now just applying this will not work. My gradient will not be applied because this thing is applied to the background. It is not actually applied to my text. So to do that, I have to use a property called webkit background clip, and I will say it to text. So I have to clip the color from the background with respect to my text, and even this would not work because my default color of my header tag would be black, so that black color would be applied to my text. So to remove that, I have to use this color, and I will set it to transparent. So the by default color, which was black, will now be transparent, and the background color will be visible on my text. So when I refresh this and show you to you, you can see now my color is the gradient color is being applied to this text. Now when we hover this, I need this transition. So to do that, first thing, I will copy all of this. I will come here, and I will use the hover to this tag or property. So when we hover, what transitions we need to get, we will write down over here. So I'll say transform property to, let's say, scale. We have a property called scale x. I will set it to 5 degrees. So what this does, this it molds, like actually it rotates my text to around 5 degree. So similarly I will, it is not actually scale, it should be skew. Here it is skew y. I will say 5 degrees, and as well as skew x to around 5 degrees. Okay, when I refresh this thing and when I hover over to my text, you can see this transition being applied, but it is coming immediately. There is no smoothness for this transition. So to happen that, I will use here transition all, and I will set it to 0.2 second. So when I do this, my transition will cover it to around 0.2 seconds. So when I refresh this, now you will get some smoothness. So when I hover this, you can see my transition being applied smoothly. But I even need a background, not background, I will need a shadow to this. So I will even write that I have already used this. You can go to my previous tutorials, previous videos to see how I have used this shadow, and I will say 10 pixel with respect to x, 10 pixel with y, and 15 pixel of its width. I will set it to, and I will set my color of the shadow to black. And when I refresh this and hover over this, you can see my shadow has been applied. So you can change this, you can use your own styling to get it perfect. And now let us see how we can add this content to left and these images to right. So to do that, I will go to my HTML document. I will create one more division tag, and I will use the class name called, let me give it a class name of content itself. So inside this, I will create a heading to tag as well as a paragraph tag. So I will copy this thing and paste it a couple of times. So now I will simply copy this thing and paste it over here. So now I have copied all of this thing, and let us see if this has been applied to my web page. So now you can see all of my content is been aligned, but it is taking the entire part of this section. So to reduce this, I will first go to my style sheet, and inside my section section tag, I am having my content division tag. So I will write it as content, and inside this I will set its width to around, say, 50%. So now what this will do, it will reduce it to 50%. So this complete entire thing, what this is my section tag. So inside my section tag I am having this content division tag. So if this is 100%, the my content tag will occupy the 50% of this thing. So now I want these images, so I will go to my document and I will quickly take one more division tag, and I will give it a class name called uh, content images. Let me call it as content images, and I will close this, and inside this I will write down 3 image tags. I will even give them a class name called, let me give it as campus 1, because these are actually the images of campus, so I am giving it as campus. And I have to mention where that images are residing. So these are residing in my images directory, so I'll say images slash campus 1, and I will even give its width and height over here itself. So I can give it even in the styling part as well. but for now I am giving it here itself. We'll say 200 pixel as well, and I'll copy this thing, paste it a couple of times again, and I will change the image name over here from, say, campus 3, and here as well. These are my three images, campus 1, 2 and 3, and all with height and width of around 200 and 200 pixels. So when I refresh this thing, you can see my images have not actually come over here. So let me see what actually the problem is. So these are not campus 1, it should be campus 1 dot jpg. I will even copy this thing and paste it over here. So now I hope it should come. So yeah, these images have come, but I don't want these images right in bottom of this content. I want them to be at the right side. So to do that, I have to first use a property called inline block to this. Not this. First specify. I will set the display property to inline block, and then I will copy this division tag, and inside my section content division section content, I am having division called content images. So I will write down that, and here what I will do, I will float it to the right side so that it is at the right side of my content. And let us see how this looks. So when I refresh this, you can see my content is come over here, but this is not coming right just beside this, because it's occupying more the width. So I have to even give its width to say around 45%. So this is because my section is covering the entire 100%, and out of that 100%, 50% is been occupied by my content. So the rest remaining out of my 50%, the 45% will be covered by my content images. So the remaining 5% will be the spacing. So when I refresh this, now you can see my images are covering 45% of the width, and they are coming exactly over here. So now I will even use a property not over here for my images. I will copy this entire thing, and inside this tag I am having all my images tag. So for all my images I will set the position property to absolute. So now what this will do, I will first show you. See, you can see all my images have gone, and I have a single image over here. But actually, to see, this is a single image, but all the three images are residing at the same place. So what this absolute property does is, for this image tag, the parent element is content images. So the position for all my images will start from that of my parent images. So all of the starting point for my images would be this particular content image tag itself. So if suppose my content images division tag is starting here, so all my images would start from here if their property is being set to absolute. So if I give some margin to my images, you can see they are all three images actually residing at the same position. So what I will do, I have this campus 1, campus 2, campus 3 class written individually. So I will once again copy this, and now instead of giving image, I will give it individually as campus 1, and I will say give the margin to this image. Suppose I will give it margin left to say around 50 pixel, and when I refresh this, you can see my one more image has been come over here. Let me give increase this, and I will set it to 100 pixels. When I refresh this, you can see this is my second image. Now let me again copy this, paste over here, and this time I will give it to margin 2 and not left. I will say top. From top I want my second image to come at the bottom. So you can see my second image is coming right at the bottom over here. So all these three images were residing at the single position starting from here. So now you can see my images are coming out. Now what I have to do, I have to arrange all of my images in this manner, overlapping one after other. So to do that, first thing, I have this image over here. I will place this a bit more far. I will set it to say around 150 pixels, and I will copy this, and even I will set the margin top to say around 50 pixels. And for this I already have set the top. I will set margin left, not margin left, let us see. Okay, it is coming over here. I will move this to a bit. I will set this image margin left to somewhat around 100, not 100, I will set it to around 50 to 55 pixel. So what I'll do, I'll copy this thing, paste it down, and this time for campus 3, and I will say margin left to say around 50 pixel, and let us see what happens. So now my images have been aligned beautifully. Now you can see over here, this text is been a bit more to the left side, right? So to do that, first let me reduce the width of my content images. So I will reduce it to 40% so that it will shrink more and come to somewhat right. So see, now it is coming just right over here. So now it looks beautiful. So before giving these transitions, you can see when I hover this, we get this transition. So before giving this transition, I will change the styling for my text over here. So to do that, I will copy this. I will just get back over here. Where is my content? Okay, here is my content. So to this content, I am having inside my this content, I am having my heading to tag. So for my heading to tag, I will set my font size to say around 30 pixels, and okay, 30 pixels, and I will even give its border bottom. So I want a border bottom to be 2 pixels solid black, and similarly I will copy this and do it for my paragraph tag. So for my paragraph tag, I don't want this. First let me change this name. So for my paragraph tag, I don't want this border bottom, and I will reduce this font size to 25 pixel, and I will even change its color to gray color. So for gray color, we have #777 as exact code. So when I refresh this, you can see my font has been increased, but it has been increased to somewhat large, and it should be not 35, it should be 25 pixel. When I refresh this, now it is coming correct, but you can see my border bottom, it is taking the entire area. So to remove that, I have a property display inline block, so it will cover only that much area, how much content is covering. So I will refresh, you can see it is covering only that much area of that of the content. So but I need some spacing with respect to my text and my border, so I will even give some padding bottom, and I will set it to say around 5 pixels of spacing between my text and my border. So now some spacing is there between my border bottom and my text. We are done with this. Now let us see how we can apply transitions to this. So here we can see when I hover this, you it seems like my image is popping out, right? So to do that, I will get back to my style sheet. I will come over here, and I will just copy this thing from here. I will paste it over here. I will use the hover property. So when I hover, what transition I need, I will place it over here. So now I have some properties called scaling. So I will use the property called transform and have scale with here it is scale, and I will scale it to say around 0 1.5. I will scale. What this scale does is it increases the size of the image. So let me show you by coming over here, not here. So when I refresh and when I hover over this, you can see this huge massive transition. It the size of my image increases. So let me reduce it to say around 0.07, and when I refresh this and hover over this, you can see my image is getting a bit bigger, but it is coming immediately. There is no smooth transition. So to do that, I have already told you, we have this property called transition, and I will say all the transition should appear for 0.2 seconds. So now when I refresh and hover over this, you can see smooth transition covering. But now when I hover over these images, these are not actually coming out of the box. These are hiding behind this image over here. So to avoid this, I have one more property called z index. So normally we see x-axis and y-axis. So now z index is somewhat the third axis that comes out of your screen. So I will say z-axis and I will set it to 1. And when I hover this, you can see my image is coming out, right? So this is how you do this thing. You can uh, try and experiment with these stylings to get it more accurate. And now we can see when we hover, we also have this border coming out, right? So to do that, what I'll do, I will say border, and I will set it over 3 pixels, solid one, and I will set its color to gray itself. And when I refresh this thing, not here, refresh, and when I hover, the border is being applied, but it is not visible because there is no padding for these images. I will set its padding. So here is my padding, and I will set it to say around 10 pixels, and I will even increase my border to 5 pixel when I refresh. And when I hover, you can see this transition is being applied. That's it guys for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you liked it, and if so, make sure that you hit the like button. If any questions or any topic that you want me to cover, just comment down and I will make sure that I reach you. And in the next video we will see how we can use cards to display our logos. And to get some more content on these topics, subscribe to my channel and press that bell icon. Till then, happy coding.